Hi guys, this is Laura Gisborne. I don't know if you can see me. I look really funny to myself, so I don't know if I'm going to look funny to you. And today is packing day. And I don't know, again, why we decided to do a Google Hangout on packing day, because we're moving on Wednesday, but we're doing our best. And I just wanted to spend a few minutes going over with you where your hidden money might be. I keep getting requests from folks to train on how to make money. What's the secret? What can we do differently? And, there's some things that I've learned over the last 25 years that I think might be helpful. And if I look so funny to you, or the video looks funny, you might want to just listen to me instead of look at me. So let me go and see if I can do a screen share, and I'll go through a few things. I decided to make this 2 parts instead of just one. Partially because we're in the middle of moving and I'm kind of in 3 different houses. That's why I'm coming to you from my kitchen. And partially because there's so much to cover. So if you find it valuable, come back on Wednesday. We'll see what we do with these recordings. If they come out just totally crummy because I'm in the mountains right now, I'll re-record them for you. But hopefully it will be of value to you. And I can give you a few things to think about over the next week. So I'm recording this on a Saturday. I'm going to do part 2 on Wednesday. And we'll just see how it goes. And if I look like I look like an anime cartoon to myself right now when I'm looking, but I don't know what I look like on your end. So we'll see what happens. So let me get to my screen share, because I put together a little bit of a PowerPoint to give you an idea of what I'm thinking, to help you save some money and find some money. And yeah, it's doing something funky. I may not have enough bandwidth to really do a good presentation for you here. So I might hop out and try another. Another computer. So just bear with me for a second and let's see if I can get to my stuff. It says that I'm doing screen share, but I don't have anybody on because it's Saturday to tell me if you guys are able to see this right now. So let's go here. And like I said, if it doesn't work out, then I will, we'll just re-record it again and see what's going on. Because it says that I'm sharing, and so if that's what's happening, hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing, and it might just take a minute for it to get to you. So this is part 1 of how to find your hidden money. I keep getting asked this question, like, Laura, I know that there's money out there. I know that there's more than enough. How come I don't have my share? And really, what I want to say to you, if you are fortunate enough to be living in a developed nation and hanging out with me here today on this hangout, chances are you have every opportunity to really experience wealth that much of the planet doesn't have. I was looking this morning trying to find these statistics that we had gathered for Limitless Women, and the numbers are pretty staggering, guys. The last that we found, 2.8 billion people still survive on less than $2 a day. So I'm really happy to share with you the things that have helped me make money and the places that we've been successful in business. And my only request is that if you listen to this work and you find it helpful, that you join me in really sharing the love and sharing the wealth a little bit. If everybody could just do a little bit, we can make a big difference in the world. And it doesn't have to be painful. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the things that we do in our businesses to really incorporate giving back and making a difference. And hopefully you'll see my screen. Otherwise, you might be just seeing me look like, kind of a Mickey Mouse over here. So this is how it feels for me every day, is that there's just always so many choices. And the conversation about abundance and the conversation about wealth is one piece of that. And one of the reasons that I think so many people struggle financially is, there's actually several reasons, but one of them is a lack of focus. So I'm going to ask you today to spend a couple minutes with me looking at where you're focusing your time, where you're focusing your energy, and hopefully give you some guidelines and some tools that might help you really get on track. Because if you can see my screen, there's a guy here juggling like a cell phone and a mailbox and a computer and, blah, blah, blah. Just so many different things, all these different pieces of the puzzle. And life is like that, right? I mean, you can get that. one of the things that's actually a benefit of being in an affluent nation and being well off is that we have the luxury of being distracted, right? We're not having to walk 6 hours to go find water, and we're not having to go out and hunt and try to feed our babies. So we're hunting in a different way, and we're hunting for that next level of success for ourselves, and it's equally as important. But again, I want you to feel that this piece for you can be handled, and it starts with you not being so distracted. It starts with you not feeling like there's too many things to do in a day. I really want to support you in coming back to what's important to you. One of the exercises that we often do when we do a live event is we invite people to look at how they would be living differently if they won the lottery. So if you just had that big fat, what I call the big Oprah Winfrey lottery, and time and money were no object for you, what would you be doing different? Like, what would your life look like? And I think it's important to take some time to do this, not in a dreaming, scheming way, but in a really heartfelt way. The reason why I ask people to do these exercises is that when I did these exercises for myself when I was a single mom, I really looked at how I'd be living differently after I got divorced, and what could I do if time and money were no object? And a lot of the things that I wanted to do had very little to do with money, and it had to do with, spending time with my children and taking care of my health and spending time with my grandma. And, those things don't have to cost a lot of money. So for me, the big goal about getting money handled is that it gives you freedom, right? It gives you an opportunity to play with people you love, share your passions, and if you're a person like me that has a lot of adventure in your genes, it's cool, and it's fun to be able to go out and have adventures and do things. And there's nothing in the world that I think is more valuable or more of a gift than being able to help other people. So chances are, if you're on this with me, and you might be one of our peeps, one of my babies — I call you guys babies, hopefully you don't get offended by that. But it's just a term of endearment for me because I'm from the South. And I think the more we can come together in community and get these money things handled, the more we can get out and make a difference for others. So if you can see my screen right now, I have a big ass pile of Benjamins, and they're wonderful, right? Like Andrew's in there too, and I'm trying to think of whoever this guy is. Lots of hundreds and 20s and 50s. There's no lack of cash on the planet. I have a friend who worked with somebody in the World Bank and said that there was really enough cash on the planet for everyone to have like $1 million. I mean, just insane numbers. And part of this shift for us is to get out of the scarcity, to get out of the idea that somehow if we have, that somebody else doesn't have. And again, I don't want to sound like a Marxist today, but I just feel like, again, figure out what your number is, and that's going to be one of the exercises I'm going to give you, and then encourage you to really think about if your money is waiting and you're taking the time out of your schedule to pay attention to this. I'm going to give you some focused ideas about things to do and some exercises, but I want you to be thinking about this. If your money is waiting, what is it for? I feel like I have a little bit of life experience here to share with you about making money. And if you can see my screen, you can see a picture of me when I was 23. I'm 48 now. When I was 23, working as a wench in our first business. I married into a family business, and people would ask me, what do you do for a living? And depending on what the day was, sometimes I was a waitress. In this picture, I'm a waitress dressed as a wench. Sometimes I was a bartender. Sometimes I was a dishwasher. Sometimes I was a cashier. A lot of you that are in our tribe and in our community are people who own your own businesses. And, it's just not for the faint of heart. I've had 9 companies over the last 25 years, and these are just a few of them here. Real estate, wine, clothing boutique, tanning salon, real estate development, real estate investing, and now our leadership company, where we're doing business mentorship for people and helping leaders who really want to get out and make a difference with their business incorporate philanthropy into their model. And it's good stuff, and we're having a great time doing it. So we do some live events each year to try to get the training out there. But I can tell you that, it's not rocket science, and at the same time, it's really hard. I don't know what the numbers are, but I hear scary numbers of businesses declining and businesses not making it more than 2 or 3 years. And I want to see it happen for you. It's really happened for me in a way that I never expected. And I grew up in a family where nobody in my family had ever gone to college, or had kind of the independence and the freedom that I have and that my children experience. And I get that that's how it is for much of the planet. And it didn't happen overnight. And there's no magic wand. If there was, I would be happy to, help you with that. But I do think that there's some really important things to ask yourself when you're looking at this money conversation. And the common questions people are always asking me is, how did I do it? Well, I didn't do anything. I'm living my life just like you are, but where I focus and where I spend my time might be different. And how do I make so much money? I'm going to give you the distinctions for that in this video, and also in the next one, maybe more tactical in the next one. But the thing to say is, really, you need to choose. You need to choose what that dollar amount is for you. And I'll show you what money loves, because I've learned how to make money, and I love making money because I think, again, having the ability to help others is a great luxury. And I've been really blessed to be able to make a lot of money and learn from my own mistakes that finding time for my family and people I love is really the most important piece for me in my own value systems. And I want you to figure out what's important in your value system. If you're a person who loves adventure, I want you to be able to have that. If you're a person who loves spending time with your babies, I want you to have that. If you're a person who really wants to provide education, I want you to have that, right? And I just really think that that's the piece. Money, we never want money for money's sake. We want money for the freedom that it provides for us. And I often get asked, because I teach a lot of entrepreneurs about business, is how do I travel so much? Because I'm on the go like a lot. I like it, but how come my businesses don't fall apart while I'm traveling? And the big secret here is that my first job was at McDonald's, and I started to learn about systems early on. And most of us kind of hit a wall, right? Like something happens before we realize that we need tools that we don't have. But in my own experience, the places where I've been the most successful, not only financially, but also in relationship and health and in purpose, is really around systems. I mean, we systemize everything. It's so not sexy. And at the same time, it really is sexy, because at the end of the day, when you can achieve your goals and have things happen for you, that's a sweet spot. And I want to see that happen for you. So if you can't see the screen, I basically have somebody with blueprints, and then I have another person who's, crossing the finish line in probably a running race of some sort. That marathoner is a person who created a system around training, right? I mean, this piece of, if you're building businesses, building wealth, you need a system around it. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that have helped me in the hopes that they will help you. So for yourself, the bottom line is you got to get this handled if it's not working for you. Because when you're struggling financially, it's really impossible to be creative. And our tribe, the people that we hang out with, the people in our community, are really creative, visionary people. I knew when I started doing this work that I was being called to lead leaders. I didn't know why. I didn't know what our bigger work was. And what I know today is that by supporting people like you that are visionary, creative leaders, that really have a heart for giving back, the ripple effect of how many people we can reach is massive, right? I'm just one mere mortal. So if it's just on me and I'm trying to break cycles of poverty on the planet, it's probably not going to be as effective. But if I can support you in your financial goals and helping you get where you want to be, you can be creative and join me on this journey of helping people that don't have access. And, from a personal perspective, what ends up happening is that when your bottom line is suffering, and I was doing a training this morning with some of my clients on sales. I teach a whole course called Sales with Ease, because I love sales. And, when your bottom line is suffering, your health suffers, your relationships suffer, and people don't feel good, right? They don't feel on purpose. And that's just not a way to live. So the reason why you want to stay with me on this conversation, just kind of giving you a backstory so people can join in, because they're always running late on my busy AAAs, is, let's look at your bigger purpose. What do you want to be creating? And what does your ideal life look like? And not in an airy-fairy hypothetical way, but really what are some of the goals you'd like to create. If we go back to the exercise that I asked you about, what would you do differently if you won the lottery? A lot of the stuff that comes up for people is not just around their wealth, but it's also around how they live. And I just feel like each and every one of us have one commonality, and that is the amount of time that we get. And some of us get shorter times and some of us get longer times, but we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So uberly successful people in any arena are really protective of their time. So thank you again for being with me today. Oh, there it is. This is my favorite screen. When I first started being asked to speak, I thought, what in the world am I going to talk about? And this was the commonality for me. You know, when I got really clear and focused on how I spend my time, my whole life changed. And I want that for you as well. Whatever your vision and your dream is, I want that to be a reality for you. And it starts with how you spend your time. So we're going to talk about money, and I promise I'm going to get there. And just know that the money and time dance is so incredibly interrelated. So time and time and time again, when I'm working with clients and I'm working with friends and meeting people who are successful financially have got this piece handled. It is the most important one. And I want you to start paying attention to how you spend your time, because this is your life. And I don't want you to have a wake-up call. It's what I call the 3 Ds, right? Death, divorce, or disease. Somebody dies, somebody you care about passes away, and then you realize, like, holy cow, I wish I would have told them how I felt. Or somebody that you love gets sick and you can't go and do what you wanted to do with them or play with them. Or what happens for a lot of AAAs, these overachievers that we hang out with, is that their bodies start shutting down, right? And you can't get it back, right? So this is the piece. You've got to really recognize how precious time is. For me, when I got divorced and I had 2 little kids, you know, lots of people have been divorced. It's not my sob story. It definitely is not what defined me, but it sure was a gift to help me realize that my babies were very precious and I didn't want to waste a minute, and I wanted to have an amazing time with them. So, you know, whatever that driver is for you, try to get a little bit deeper with me on why we're making the money. So, money loves focus. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if you are all over the place, chances are that your money's not working, right? Money really is a relationship. It's a form of energy that comes to you and through you in direct proportion to the amount of people that you serve. So I'm going to give you like the $1 million distinction, and then you can just sign off if I'm boring you with this. But the one thing I know to be absolutely true about making money is that if you serve more people, you make more money. I mean, money comes to us and through us in direct proportion, right? So if I'm serving one human and I get paid really well because I'm absolutely great at what I do, I'm not trying to be grand, but I'm really good at it, lots of experience. That's one person, right? But if you can figure out how to take your message and take your service and reach masses of people, if you're old enough and you're listening to this, to remember when McDonald's used to have numbers on the arches, it used to say, you know, like 20 million served or 50 million served. I'm just making up numbers. I don't know what it said, but it's a lot, right? And we drive by in different locations. And now it's just across the board, billions and millions served, which is kind of cool, right? So in a more current business model, we look at something like Facebook, like how many humans are actually on Facebook. I don't know the number, but there's lots. And how many people use Windows, and how many people have iPhones. You get the idea? Like the scalability for you is a big, exciting factor, but it's got to start with your focus. And I think all too often our clients come to me and they make money. I mean, like they've got businesses that are successful, but they're not focused on what they need to focus on. And I'm going to get into that with you here in just a second. And, you know, the fact that you're even just listening to this and sticking with me, you know, tells me that you want to get this handled. You want to get it changed. So the good news is you can change this and you can have as much money as you are willing to make happen. The bad news is you don't get to just hang out with me for a few minutes and then get it handled, right? It's just not a short thing. It's actually something that I'm going to encourage you to embrace as part of the rest of your life. It's worth it. It's not about the cash. It's not about the currency, but it's about your purpose, and it's about your ability to serve others. And when you reach financial freedom, your ability to reach and serve many more people is very important. So we're going to keep focusing on money. And my friend Jesse was talking to me about this the other day, because I said, God, I don't want to teach people about money. It's not about the money. And he's like, well, what's your mission? And I said, my mission is to break cycles of poverty. He's like, hello. So I was like, yeah, I guess so. So let's get the money thing handled so you can join me in serving lots and lots of people. If you can see my screen, or it's coming after a bit here, I have the cutest picture of this woman who is just loving on her money tree. And it is like so overflowing. It's a tree full of bills, and it is like so overflowing that it's flying into the basket because there's just so much of it. So the question becomes then, what is your relationship to money? If you want to find out where money is hiding, or more importantly, why money might be hiding from you, I encourage you to consider this. We tend to look at what is not working. We tend to look at the world sometimes as humans from a scarce perspective. It's not our fault. It's kind of what we know. And what I want to encourage you to consider is, what would it look like if you had a relationship with someone and every time you met them, all you told them was, you are not enough. You're never here for me. You're not there when I need you. What the heck? What would that relationship be like moving forward? What would your relationship be like with your health and your body if you never gave it any attention? What happened if you're just on autopilot and you're just eating junk and you're never moving? What would happen if your kids grew up and you never gave them any love or attention? These are relationship things, guys. And what happens for lots of people is that their conversation with money, their relationship with money, is all about the not enough, right? Have you ever had that experience where you open up your bank account or you open up your bank statement, because maybe you're not even looking at it online, and you say like, where are you? Why aren't you here for me? If you're doing that, what kind of energy are you creating in your relationship with money? Now, what if you actually learn to cultivate and appreciate and be grateful for the money that you have? And when I throw out, statistics about 2.2 billion people living on less than $2 a day, I personally have a hard time perceiving that. I do remember being a young woman and working 2 or 3 jobs, and no matter how hard I worked, I never had enough, and I would never felt like I was enough. And being in the bathroom one time with the man that I lived with, and having him look at me and say, I'm wrapping my fist in a towel because I love you so much that I don't want to break your nose when I hit you in the face. And I'm not trying to hit you in the face with this story, but I want you to get that the next thing he said to me was actually what landed. And that is that he said, you should be grateful. And then he proceeded to start hitting me. And the piece about this story, guys, is not that I want you to feel sorry for me, because nothing could be farther from the truth. I mean, I have an amazing life today. But the hitting part was actually the normal part to me. The comment that he made about you should be grateful was all I could think about. I literally, at that point in my life, didn't have gratitude as part of my life. It's not something I ever heard. It's not something I knew. The conversation around me as a child and as a young person was always about what wasn't working and what was not enough. And I have a feeling that a lot of how, I was relating to the world and to money was that I felt like I was not enough, and that I never had enough. I'm not crying. I'm just losing my voice. Let me grab some water. So For you, the encouragement I have is to think about your relationship to money. Are you grateful for what you have? Do you look at it and thank it? Are you thankful that you're able to eat? Are you thankful that you're able to have a roof over your head? Are you thankful that, excuse me, if you were like I am right now in Colorado and it's snowing like crazy, that you're warm? You know, there's a lot of stuff to be grateful for, and we tend to get more of what we focus on. So think about, again, your relationship. This is important stuff. If you want to be able to see where money is hiding, this is one of those places, right? I know it may sound a little woo-woo for some of you, but it really matters, okay? Things that you pay attention to, things that you love on, things that you cultivate, grow. So start cultivating your relationship with your money. Start recognizing and celebrating all the things that are working so you can get more of that instead of looking at the things that are not working. And when you open up your bank account or you open up your bank statement, how about saying thank you instead of, why aren't you here for me? All right. So if you can see my screen now, or if it's coming because it might be delayed, these are some pictures of my family, my biological family, and Scotty, my stepson. And, you know, my bigger why has always been, I'm a person who's very driven by relationships. I love my relationships so much. And I love my people so much. And I grew up really feeling like I wasn't wanted and I wasn't loved. And that's not necessarily the truth, by the way, but from my child's perspective, that's what I decided. And the gift for me in that is that I have really, really had such an incredible blessing to be related to my children and to really know them as people. And I'm so proud of who they are now because they're all adults. And my husband, Scott, and I have been married 15 years now, and we're always going through changes, as I'm sure any of you that are in relationships are. But I have been very blessed to have a deep fabric in my life, in my relationships. So if that's important to you, what I can tell you is that having money and having that not be a driver and having the scarcity conversation and the fear conversation and the lack conversation not push me has allowed me to have some incredible experiences. So the time that I spend with the people I love is very important to me. And my family keeps growing because now as we're working out in the world, we're building and growing lots of new friends. So here's the question to ask yourself, and take notes if this is of service. Are you working for money, or is money working for you? Let me say that to you again. Are you working for money, or is money working for you? So I told you that I started at McDonald's, right? And then I put myself through school, working as a receptionist in a law firm and working waitressing at night and going to college and yada, 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 and so on and so forth. And then I became an entrepreneur at an early age. And then I just kept building. And really I'd say probably until I was in my 30s, I didn't get this. I really got in my own perception that I was working for money. And then, luckily, I learned that that wasn't the way it had to be. Believe it or not, money is actually here to work for you. So if you can get to the piece where you actually start to own your relationship with money, you start having money work for you, it's actually a cool thing, right? Because this is really what we're looking for. We're looking for this path to freedom. We're looking for the place where we can go and play and do what we want to do. But the shift in your mind is that how can you have money work for you? I'm going to teach you how to do that because we look at a lot of the different ways to make more money, but we don't think about what I consider the three full components of wealth. And that is that making more money is one piece of the puzzle. Keeping more money is really important. And growing your money is super important. So when you get to a certain place in financial independence, your money is actually making money, and you have the freedom to truly be here and serve your purpose. And I want to teach you how to quickly have money work for you instead of you working for money. But I've got to have your partnership in this because I need you to stop giving away your power around money, right? Money doesn't make you a good person. Money doesn't make you better looking. My plastic surgeon might think differently. Money doesn't make you, nicer. It just gives you more freedom. So let's look at the ways where you can find some money and, more importantly, keep more of it and grow it and have it work for you, right? So you see the evolution of this, how these things are all very interrelated. If you have your own business, there's lots of cool ways to keep more money in the way that you structure yourself and the way that you have an entity. And I'm not sure where I'm going with this slides, so I'm just going to do this. So it looks like I'm going to talk about making more money first. Remember when I talked about the time and how time is the most important thing? If you are spending your time on things that are not generating revenue, I want you to ask yourself if this is the highest and best. I tease sometimes because, I'm a girl and we love things like Facebook and we love to talk and, there's a chemical reaction that happens for us and there's all this bonding good stuff that happens when we're chatting. But a lot of times it's not making money for us. So when I talk about the 3 steps of making more money, keeping more money, and growing your money, you've got to take charge of this very first piece, which is looking at the revenue generating activities in your life, in your business. If you're an entrepreneur, the things that drive the revenue are generally marketing and sales. So I do a whole training on sales with ease and actually have an event coming up called Money, Marketing, and Sales Secrets. And I'd love to have you with us if it's of interest. I'll tell you how you can join us in a little bit. There's no tickets for sale. It's an invitation only type environment. But really what I want to do is help you get this piece handled so that you can be free. And the marketing and sales dance in my world kind of looks like this. Sales is great and sales is actually easy if marketing is done well. And I know that there's a lot of confusion when I speak to audiences about what the difference is between marketing and sales. So I'm going to share with you my most common tweetable, if you will, that people always get a good laugh out of. And that is that when I was speaking a few years ago, when I first started speaking, I was up in Red Deer, Alberta, up in Canada. And a woman said to me, you speakers come in, you've got all this training for us. You teach us about marketing, you teach about sales. She's like, I just don't get it. I don't understand the difference between marketing and sales. And I don't know where this came from, but out of my mouth, I looked at her and said, marketing is foreplay and sales is the deed. And she just looked at me and her mouth was open because I was in Canada and that was kind of vulgar for Canada. They're very proper, my lovely Canadian friends. But, think about it. Think about how you're courting your clients. Think about how you are relating to people, right? And if marketing and sales are done well and they're done with great systems and they're done with congruency and they're done with a focused attention, the money part actually becomes very easy. So it's what I call the golden trifecta. That's why I have this little triangle here. If you can't see my screen, I have a gold triangle that says money on the top and marketing and sales are on the other points of the triangle. So have you ever been in a situation where, and sorry guys, I'm not trying to be sexist, but have you ever been out with somebody and they just wanted to go for the sale? You're like, end of the night, they're like just going for it. And you're like, wait, it's my first date. No, I need a little more marketing. What happens too often with women entrepreneurs, women in business, is that we market, right? We build relationships, we're chatting, we're bonding, and we forget to go for the deed. We forget to go for the sale. So the dance of marketing and sales, they're both equally important in my mind. And I want you guys to really look at in your own life, in your own business, how much time are you spending on marketing and sales? It has to be, in my opinion, a daily activity. Wealth is built by a very clear formula of a system of service. So I'm going to get to this in a second with my 1, 2, 3s, but basically we don't get paid as entrepreneurs or even as employees. If you're still working in a job, there's nothing wrong with that. Congratulations that you have a job. There is a problem and a solution. So there's a person who has a problem. If you have a solution for the problem, you're going to provide the solution, and there's an energy exchange. That's how money gets transferred. That's how money moves. Money moves to us and through us in direct proportion to solving problems. Got it? So where entrepreneurs go crazy is they think they can do all these different things. And if you really want to get wealthy and you really want to build a life of freedom for yourself, it's finding those revenue generating activities. And this is the part that's not sexy, but it's so true. You've got to do them again and again and again and again and again. So when people used to come to our house in Sedona, we own a wine store in Sedona and a winery, and they would ask my husband, like, what do you do for a living? And he would say, I work in a wine store. Now, we happen to own the wine store, but the truth is that that's what Scott would do. He would go to work. He worked about 20 hours a week with his golden retriever, and he would go into the store and he would sell $30 bottles of wine. Well, he sold millions of dollars of wine, but it happened over and over and over again. And I can tell you that there were days that he was not so interested in going into a wine store and selling $30 bottles of wine. But that's how wealth is built, right? It's over and over and over again, doing the things that generate money. So excuse me for a second, I have to get more water. If you can see me at the refrigerator getting more water. And if you can't, then hang in there. I'll be right back. All right, so what is it in your business? What is it in your life? What are the revenue generating activities that you can do? And if you're an employee situation, the question to ask yourself is, how do I add more value to my company? How do I bring more creativity? How do I bring deeper levels of service? So money loves clarity. When I am out speaking and I get a chance to ask you questions instead of just talking at you, much rather talk with you. A lot of times I'll just stand in front of the room and ask, what do you guys need? Like, tell me your top 3 challenges. And I promise you, every time I do this, somebody in the audience says, I want to get more clients. And I say, do you want to get them, or would you love to just attract them? Wouldn't it be so nice if you could just do what you do and be who you are and have the people that you adore come to you? Doesn't that sound better than getting them? I don't want to be gotten. I want to be magnetized. I want to be marketed to. I want to be romanced, right? I want to fall in love with the people that I work with. And I do. But, it's a two-way street. So the people that I hire to assist me with my businesses, I love them too, or else I wouldn't work with them. And there was an interesting conversation we had this morning in the Sales with Ease conversation about, what if, instead of feeling like you had to get more clients, you actually understood that you could choose? What if you could actually choose to work with people that were juicy, delicious, that you just couldn't wait to see, that you love spending time with, and the energy exchange was so valuable that they paid you well to spend time with you? You guys, this is possible in every industry, really in every industry. It does not have to be so hard, but I want you to get clear, crystal clear. Remember, money loves focus and money loves clarity. And when you are looking for money that's hiding from you, it's in this piece, all right? So I reduce this to ridiculous. Your message and what you do and how you make money is these 3 things. Are you ready? If you can see my screen, you can see it. If you can't, I'll just tell you. Number 1, who do you serve? There are now 7.5 billion people on the planet. You don't serve all of them. Get over yourself. It's not happening. Okay, you may be very special, but no. Who do you really serve? Like, who do you work with? I can tell you that my ideal client is a business owner who is not a type A overachiever. They're triple A's. They're smart and they're successful, and a lot of times they're tired and they're overwhelmed, and they are not, sorry, I'm kind of moving on to number 2. What are they struggling with? They're not struggling because they're not working hard enough. They're struggling because they're missing the systems to provide freedom. Okay? They're missing a lot of times a whole lot of clarity, and that's what we bring for them, right? Together, we create a unique solution, because partnership is everything when you're working with people. I cannot go into your business and solve the problems. You have to go into your business and solve the problems. Now, I go back to the choosing piece in this. I don't choose to work with clients who aren't going to implement, who aren't really ready to get their booties in gear and make things happen, right? So in your own perspective, who is it? Who do you serve? Know them, know exactly who they are, know their ages, know their demographics, know their values, know like what makes them tick. It's super important, right? I only want to work with passionate, purpose-driven people. I don't want to work with people that just want money. I'm not interested in the conversation. You get it? So in your own conversation, who do you want to work with? Because what if you could choose? And then get really clear about what they're struggling with. Sometimes, I have these friends, George and Tracy. Scott and I got married 10 weeks after our first date. I think George and Tracy got married like 4 or 5 weeks after their first date. And I love this line that they said to each other. I can't remember if Tracy said this or George said this, but the question was, how long does it take to fall in love? And whoever, the brilliant one who said that, the other one said, what if it's in an instant? What if things didn't have to be so hard, guys? What if this money thing actually could get handled if you would give it a little love and a little of attention, all right? And find the solutions. So for your clients, who are they? What's the problem? And what's the solution? 1, 2, 3. Get the idea? Simple, simple, simple. Make things simple. That's where your money is hiding, is that you're complicating everything. So in day-to-day operations, here's a few little strategic pieces for you. Number 1, are you spending more than you make? If you are buying things on credit and you can't afford them, stop. All right? You can learn to live on less than you make. I want you to live well. I really believe you can have everything and anything that you want, but there's something really fantastic about the things that you actually save for. That same thing. Instead of saying, okay, I can have this, I can buy it on credit, it's a couple $100s a month, you could also save that money, grow that money, and pay cash. And then you're going to feel so much better. So if you're spending more than you make, stop. Okay? There's no shortcut on that one. So sad. Now, are you tracking? How do you know if you're spending more than you make? You're getting the bills, right? But are you tracking your money? Are you tracking your revenue? Are you seeing exactly how you're spending? So remember the 3 keys about making more money. And then the next one was keeping more money. A lot of times we're spending money for stuff and we just are so on autopilot that we forget, that we don't think about calling Verizon and asking them to review our plan. Maybe they have something better. Maybe they have something cheaper. Maybe we're paying, exorbitant amounts of money for cable. You guys have to pay attention both personally and professionally. And it's easy in business to lose sight of this. I am not giving you tax advice and I'm not giving you legal advice. Even though I went to law school, I am not an attorney. However, I encourage you, if you are listening to this and you are able to have a conversation either with myself or with a CPA or with Legal Shield, really look at how you're structured. One of the great benefits of being a business owner is that the government rewards us with incredible tax incentives. And they do that because ideally, as we grow as a company, we provide jobs, right? We actually are able to employ families and take care of people. And that's, again, a great honor. So in your components of not just making money, but also keeping more of your money, tracking is non-negotiable. So something I've been using for years, and I have a bookkeeper and an accountant, and they both are not happy with me, but they deal with it, thankfully, because I pay them a lot of money, is I use Quicken. I've been using Quicken, honestly, I don't even know for how many years, but I'm thinking Jacob is 22, so probably 20. I mean, I have to check with Intuit and see when they first came out, but I can remember doing it, in my little office in the back of a restaurant years ago. So Quicken is a really inexpensive program. There's so much stuff out there, Microsoft Money, there's lots and lots of good programs. They don't have to be complicated. I like it because I just need to know what comes in and what goes out, and I attach it directly to my bank account. It downloads for me, and I really look at it almost 7 days a week. I say almost because sometimes on an airplane and I don't get to it, but pretty much from anywhere in the world. I've been in Africa, I've been in Asia, I've been in Mexico, and I just turn on my computer and I can track. Everything is there, right? I can see exactly what's coming in, what's going out. And I actually like to track. I think it actually is kind of fun and it makes me feel good. And yeah, so if you're not tracking, please start. Quicken's just one solution, and it could simply just be opening up your bank account, looking at it every day. But I really want you to get clear on the distinctions of one of the ways that you keep more money is that you really look at spending money that makes you money, and you really look at really in your business activities, having activities that are growing your business for you. So when we have someone, let me just use myself as an example. When I hire a coach, I'm always looking for a mentor. I can tell you that the first 2 years I was in this business, I was trying to hide and do it on nights and weekends because my husband was not happy. And he had no idea why I was being called to go out and save the world because it's not his mission. And it was tough, right? And so I didn't want to spend any money. And we really had to get to a breaking point as a team and as a couple to decide, were we going to continue in this, because we were in marriage counseling and I couldn't not do my work. I couldn't not be my purpose. And, luckily we decided to regroup and we look at it all the time. How do we find the balance as a couple living concurrently in different missions? But one of the things that I really needed to help myself grow was internet marketing training, coaching. I'm very good at building a business, but I'd never built this type of business, and I'd never built a business in the scale that we have currently with our global reach that's growing all the time. So coaching was important. And the piece that I will tell you is that in other brick and mortar businesses and other real estate investing, it was very easy for me to look at spending money to make money. But coaching and investing in myself was really hard. I mean, it was very stuck. And what I looked at is if I took a wine contract as an example, or I bought merchandise that I was going to turn around and sell in the store, and I bought something for $10, could I sell it for 20 or 40 or 50? I actually like big returns on investment and large margins. So if I was going to spend $10,000 on a program that was going to help me or my education, would I be able to recoup $100,000? Could I grow that $10,000 into $1 million? This is the piece that you guys have to get. So there's places where you need to spend money, but I want you to spend money intelligently and strategically. And again, if you're not tracking and you're spending more than you're making, it's not the right place. All right. So I'll go more into that with you. If you'd like to come to Money Marketing and Sales Secrets, I'll go more into depth with you on that and exactly the forms that we use and the structures. But a quick thing I want to bring into here is that at this point, I try to have everything I can automated, partially because I travel a lot, and also because then I never have to worry about it. And it's an energetic message to the universe that I always have more than enough. So wherever you're listening to this or wherever you're watching this, chances are if you don't pay the power company, they're going to turn off your electricity. So the time that you're spending worrying about is when do I write the check and when do I mail it and all that other stuff, please stop. Okay, just put it on automatic debit. They'll take it right out of your checking account. If the money's not there, I promise you, they will let you know. Okay. But if it's taken care of and it's handled, it's a great thing that frees up your time. Remember that time is that one great commodity that we all only get a little bit of. So put things on automatic debit. You also need to be saving. You need to be saving regularly, and it needs to be automated. And if you have dreams of retiring, it needs to be done with a big picture in mind, right? Daily, monthly, yearly. We're going to go deeply into this in the training. If you can't join us for Money Marketing and Sales, I recommend you get Tony Robbins' new book about money winning the game. I think that's what it's called. Great book, so good. Great strategies there. But you need to have strategies and you need to have tools. And as I said earlier, I didn't grow up with a family that had wealth, that never had independence, never had freedom. And there was so much pain and cost because of that. And I really want for you to have some ease and grace about this. I currently have 2 children in college, and I promise you it's uber expensive and it's worth it, and it's amazing and it's wonderful. And I want that for you if it's important for you. So somewhere, if something's holding you back financially, somebody might have told you that you're not enough. I gave you a little bit of my story, but I can tell you that my mom found herself pregnant with me as a teenager, and it was hard. And I always felt like I ruined her life and that it wasn't enough. So, and that I wasn't enough, right? And it shows up in money. So when money's not showing up for you, I promise you, it's just a mirror. It's just a magnifier of something else. And if you're feeling like you're not enough, come join our community and be supported. You don't have to do it alone. And you might be ready right now. It may not be one of those things that you have to wait for another 10 years to get ready. You could actually get on it and be with us right now and get it handled. And then you can create your own beliefs and have good stuff, right? And learn to let go of the things that don't serve you, the things that are, old messages, old patterns, old beliefs. It's really what I always call the difference between the short hurt and the long hurt. And what I mean by that is this. The long hurt is you keep doing the things you're doing, and you know what to expect, and you're kind of comfortable being uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, it's not that great, but it's not that bad, but at least I know it. It takes courage to go to the devil you don't know. And I promise you that if I'm wrong about this and it doesn't work, your old life will be there, okay? But you've got to take a little bit of faith. You've got to leap a little bit. And part of that for a lot of us is learning to let go of things. And sometimes that means people too, that don't serve you, that don't serve your values and don't serve your mission. You only have one life here. And I want it to be the life that you dream of. I don't live the life of my dreams. I live a life I never dreamed was possible. And it's kind of like this. You get a new dream, or you get your dream, and you get there, and it's wonderful, and there's more. God has a bigger plan for you, and I want to support you in seeing that happen. Sometimes letting go is part of that, and letting go of the old habits that aren't serving you anymore hurts a little bit, right? So it's a short hurt, but the good stuff that's on the other side is so worth it. So if you're not doing something to currently elevate your thinking, I encourage you to make sure you are in community with other people who are interested in what you're interested in. If you are a AAA achiever who wants to make a difference in the world, you've got to be around other people. There's a family of origin, there's a family of choice. You've got to be around people that uplift you and elevate you. And as you can see on my screen, this is a picture of me on the beach in California, which is my favorite place in the world. Not necessarily California, but the beach. The beach is my favorite place in the world. And I'm moving to California in a few weeks. So I want you to think about what you would be doing differently if time and money were really your own. If you actually can get this handled, what would your life look like? And let's see what we can do to get you going there. I have an invitation for you. There's nothing to buy, but I would love for you to look at the website, moneytimeandfun.com. If you can't see my screen, write it out. It's moneytimeandfun.com, moneytimeandfun.com. And this is an event that I do once a year. It's a great event. It is so much fun. And, I had to put the fun thing in here because why not? So what's the purpose? And what we're going to be covering here is really the deep dive on strategies. It's a small event. I limit it to 50 people. I am training you. It starts on Thursday afternoon. I do a bonus training for people that are coming in from out of town Thursday afternoon. There's no extra charge for that. We normally charge $9.97 to do a coaching day like that with me in a group, but I gift that to you because I really appreciate you coming in and making the time to get this handled. And then we train on Friday on the coolest, most innovative things you'd be doing right now in marketing. And my dear friend, Jesse Krieger, who has his own publishing company, is such a genius in this way of your online and your offline strategies. So we really give you the tools to know what's working, how to speed up your success, how to stop having this be so hard, And then I teach you sales with ease, because I think if you learn to love sales and you really enjoy the process of making money and serving people, you're going to just magnify your impact and help so many more. So I would love to have you join us. If you're interested, look at the page. I don't charge for tickets for my events. I'm pretty good, well off, and the clients that pay me very well. So when I do a live event, it's a way for me to give back to people who need more. And what we ask you to do is to join us. This is a fundraiser. So we ask you to simply make a small contribution of $50 for the entire weekend and donate it directly to charity. We have a link on our site that we'll send to you for the Unstoppable Foundation, which is a foundation that's very near and dear to my heart. They currently feed, educate, clothe, provide healthcare, water to 7,000 children in 4 countries, and they are about 6 years old. 100% of the money that we raise goes directly to breaking cycles of poverty by providing education. And I'm really proud, really proud to be affiliated with them. So if education and breaking poverty cycles is important to you, please look at the Unstoppable Foundation. We've got information about them on our website, and we're honored to play with them and have you join us. So if you're interested in making a contribution, I would greatly appreciate it. And my gosh, I'm doing good. I'm going to wrap up here right at the hour. This is my favorite quote, and it's really how I try to live my life, and it's what I want for you. And you can see again, there's a picture of the beach. Can't wait to be there. And what the quote is salud, dinero y amor, y tiempo para disfrutarlo. And what this means is health, wealth, and love, and the time to enjoy them. I really think that that's a total package. And I know that you're the total package, and I'm so grateful that you spent time with me today. I really appreciate you wanting to get this handled. I'm going to do the training again on Wednesday. Today is packing day. Wednesday is moving day. So when I come on in the beginning, heaven knows what I'm going to be looking like in my sweats and my ponytail. But, if this has been helpful for you, please write to me. Let me know how I can serve you. Let me know what distinctions you need. And I promise you that if you will come and spend time with us at Money Marketing and Sales Secrets, will really give you some value in deep diving and getting this handled, give you the tools that we use. Everybody in our community is very connected and very committed to supporting each other. And my good friend Sandra Yancey says it best, and that she's always encouraging us to lift as we climb. That's what she talks about in eWomen Network, fantastic organization to belong to. How can we lift you? How can we support you? And I appreciate you just even taking the time today to take a look at it with me. So if there's more I can do for you, please reach out to me on Facebook. If I can figure out how to get the comments thing working here, great. You can also contact me through any of my websites. So moneytimeandfun.com is coming up. I'd love to have you with us. And please consider checking it out and let me know how I can support you. Thanks again for being with me today, and sending you my love.